And the debt exchange remains the biggest issue in Ghana today as various groups mount resistance to government's plan to include them. The deadline was extended from January 16 to the 31st of January after two previous extensions, I should say. This morning, a confidant of President Akufo-Addo, govt, has been tweeting in response to the widespread rejection of the government's debt exchange invitation. Well, here's what you have as excerpts of that tweet reading by govt on your screens now. We'll bring that to you. It indicates that four key issues or developments here. One, government is engaging reps of individual stakeholders. And then two, there's no credible alternative to the debt exchange program. Three is that individual bondholders deserve much better protection than the one currently on offer. And four, there will be some shared pain. That's what he's indicating to us. So how will key stakeholders respond to this call for burden sharing? This afternoon, we're engaging individual bondholders and others on this. You can also send us your WhatsApp message, 055-111-1997, so we can take that up. Harry Kakari Entry is a young Ghanaian who does not have any of these bonds, but obviously he is deeply worried about the current situation. We'll hear from him why. Also, Dr. Edu Entry is, of course, speaking on behalf of the pensioner group, bondholders, and he has, of course, been leading that charge ever since it all started. Doc, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And we always have to ask for updates. We know that the situation is very fluid, so anything can happen at any time. But have we heard from government? Have you been engaged just as we're getting these updates?
Well, the last time that we met, that was yesterday, at a press conference, we indicated that from the press conference, we were going to the ministry to see if we could meet the minister. We went there for people representing the forum went there. The minister was in a meeting. We waited for about an hour and some few minutes. And we realized the meeting was going to take a long time. So a representative of the minister came out to tell us that the minister was deeply engaged and therefore will not be able to meet us. So he picked a copy of the petition and promised that he will use it to follow up and let us know what the situation is with what we have seen. I haven't heard from, he took my number, I haven't heard from them.
So that was the last time?
Yes, that was only yesterday.
So if we're hearing that there's going to be an engagement, do you suspect that this may be happening with some other groups?
Yes, that's what should happen once the ministry has, the minister has now come out to say the extending the period to make room for further engagement. Then that's what is likely to happen.
Harry is also on with us. Harry, you say that you're concerned about this situation, although you do not directly hold any of these investments. Why?
And I hope my voice is clear enough.
I can hear you.
Thank you. It is a very worrying situation, and every Ghanaian must sit up and then tell the government that what they are doing with people's finances must be looked into. You have even the majority leader talking about it. You have the whip talking about it. You have minority. Both bench in parliament are talking about it. And the government doesn't seem to listen. When I say government, I'm talking about the executive arm. President Akufo-Addo and the finance minister, they don't want to listen. And whatever this is going to happen, it is going to have a trickle-down effect on every individual in this country. It is a conversation not just about people who hold bonds, but if my uncle, my grandmother, my grandfather, anybody who has money in bonds, the banks, the insurance companies who have monies in bonds are going to be affected. We will all bear the brunt of that. And so it is a wide stake consultation that the government needs to do. And some of us, young people, we feel like the government is not listening. They are not opening up to individual consultation. They are not opening up to stakeholder consultations. And it is very worrying because just like the way they did with e-levy, they are doing the same with this situation. And young people must resist at all costs. It is not going to happen. It is crass. It is insensitive on the part of the government, and we will resist it at all costs.
So, for you, what's the best alternative you feel government could be approaching this on?
So there should be a wide state consultation. Engage the labor unions, the businesses. There should be transparency. There should be a sit down. Look at how the former government did theirs with the IMF program. It was a wide consultation. Everybody was involved. There should be burden sharing. You can't have 4 children and then expect two to feed you and then leave the rest. There should be burden sharing. And before the government even sits on the table to negotiate, they say that there is no negotiation if one party is not willing to shift its original post. Before they even come to the negotiation post, they should tighten their belt. You can't be living large and luxurious and expect Ghanaians to pay for that. We are not going to accept that. They should cut down on discretionary items and expenditure. It is too much. Look at the number of people that are being employed and they are not doing anything. Ministry, some institutions have 5 directors, 4 deputies. It's a lot. What is the government doing about it? Their expenditure is too much. It is like somebody has borrowed money from you and he's coming to tell you that I can't pay. But when he's coming, he's sitting in a Range Rover and the AC is full on. And he's sitting in the car and then through the window, he's telling you, well, I can't pay you, so whatever you want to do, that's none of my case. That is exactly what the government is telling us. They need to come down from their high horses and listen to the plight of Ghanaians.
Dr. Hedu, let's expand that issue, the issue about cost sharing. Gabi says you must share the pain because the alternative is quite dire for all of us. Have you been thinking through that option as well? The need to make some concessions, and what are you willing to concede?
Yes, I believe we must all share the pain. But we don't share pains with already vulnerable people. Whatever pains need to be shared, those who are capable to bear must bear. In every society, there are vulnerable groups. And I like it when Russia was calling people to go and fight. Did they call the people who are sick and old and in their house? No, the young ones. The elderly has played their part, their role. It is now left on to the young ones to do that. Just as when we are in the house, something comes, we tell, oh lady, sit down, we shall do it. Basic principle. You can't burden the already impoverished and vulnerable group. So, well, burden sharing is okay that people share, but people will have to share a burden that they can bear. If an old man, something is happening, and you call an old man to help you push your car, after he just attempt to push, you will fall down and die. You don't call the sick person to come and push your car. You call somebody who has the strength. So all that we are saying that, yes, burden sharing, fine, but look at some group that you think these people cannot bear that cost, and so we would exempt them from the sharing.
So you're willing to make some concessions?
If we see what government is willing to do, and we are not the only group, if government can exempt the vulnerable group and then negotiate with the others, the able-bodied people who can bear the burden, everybody would be happy. At least the elder ones will be encouraging the young ones to come up and help. It is time for you. I've now used that. They say, "Yana assassini." Now, a Drew Mene was the me is not the old man. If you say a Drew Mene was he's not referring to the old man who cannot sometimes even come out of the room to see sunlight. What is he going to do? It is me, those who are able-bodied and have strength to continue. The people that the son is referring to, that a Drew Mene was also. The rest are there just to motivate it. Give us advice and do that. But if it comes to burden sharing, they are incapable of helping.
Your membership, is it growing by the day? Do you get more and more people coming to you asking so many questions?
The membership is growing, even though we cannot get everybody on board. Right. We are representing the whole Ghanaian population of pensioners. In every corner of the country, there are pensioners. You can't reach them. Even Accra here, we can't reach all of them. But at least as of now, we have reached more than 400 people that have been put on the platform. That's why it's just basically to have discussion, because one man should not be taking the decision. We are acting for all this number of people across the country. But at least if we get a sizable number to take those decisions on behalf of others, it's a better way than maybe 4 or 3 people deciding for the rest. So at least it's growing, and now we have over 400 people.
We've seen some activities in the last few hours. You went to the overlord of the Ghana State. Was that what?
We haven't been there.
Okay, so that's Lawyer Martin Pebbles' group.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you're joining some of these activities, because they announced that they may be moving to for the finance ministry to pick it there. They may be taking a number of actions. How are you, joining forces in that regard?
So we have also, yesterday, at our press conference, we said that if we don't hear any positive thing from the government by next week, which is Monday, 23rd or so, Monday, we are going to the Ministry of Finance and stay there until he gives us audience. What we have, the police, if you are asking for this, we have to give them time. And the elderly people are also saying we can't go and stay there for any long time. So we have written to the police that we will report there at 9 and we will leave there at 12, by which time we think the minister would have met us. I have the belief that if these elderly people come in their wheelchairs and whatever, drop there, and 50 of them, they say, 50 of them are sitting there, say, please, we have come, we want you to meet our leaders and talk to us and give us assurances that we are not going to be involved. I believe the minister will not even like that for people who can pass, they pass, not that can pass, to be the father, the mother, to come and congregate there and say, I'm not going to have a meeting with you. You can stay here, and if you are tired, you can go. I don't think the minister will want that to happen. So we have done that and waiting that we believe we will be called before that time. And again, at the time that we planned this, the extension hasn't come. So we thought the minister didn't have enough time, but now that it has been extended, maybe that is why, because of the difficult schedule he's having, he has not been able to meet us. And he may be able to meet us within this week that we are hoping. But for the chiefs, it's a letter. Yeah. Ours, we send it to the National House of Chiefs.
Oh, you've done that as well?
Yes, we have distributed letters to the National House of Chiefs, the Chairman of Peace Council, the Speaker of Parliament, Catholic Conference Center, Christian Council, Muhammad, the Chief Imam, Pentecostal and Charismatic. We have covered all those. Those that we found about 7 institutions that are key in our governance. We have submitted the copies of the petition and letting them know what we are doing and telling them that they should also be involved and ensure that these things are done.
Okay, I need to indicate very quickly that if you're sending us a WhatsApp message, what you need to do is to try and make sure that you add your name when you send us that text. But Harry, you're still on with us. Harry, you say that we shouldn't let this fight to just be a fight for those who are the individual bondholders. Why should we be joining if we, quote and unquote, do not have any investments there?
So, what is going to happen if this proceeds is that the GDP rate of this country in this year is not going to exceed even 2%. We are going to have less demand. We are going to have less production. There will be fewer revenue. There will be fewer imports. And when that happens, people will pay less tax. It means that there's going to be a drop in government revenue. When that happens, government can't spend more. People may not be able to get paid on time. And if my father, my mother is a civil servant, already they are not even being paid on time, and this happens, it is going to give us a lot of problems. As I said, it's going to be a trickle-down effect. On the other hand, if all these things happen as well, and I am a son of a farmer who is expecting money from pension, my father needs to pay my fees. If money does not go through pension to my dad, how am I going to get my fees paid? And so it's not just about those that are holding bonds. It is about every individual who depends on somebody. A lot of young people in this country depend on a lot of people because there are no growing jobs. People are not getting employed. Young people are on the streets, and so every day somebody needs to feed them. And so it is going to have a mass action effect on young people in this country. And that is why we are going to resist. The government needs to sit down with everybody, with bondholders, with insurance companies, where banks have about 50 to 65% of their money in government treasuries. And if that happens, some banks have started even laying off workers. Insurance companies have started laying off workers. And it's going to have a trickle-down effect. I don't understand why the government wants to push this down the throat of Ghanaians without sitting on a round table to digest the issue and find a proper solution to it. And if that doesn't happen, as I said earlier, young people are going to resist it. It's not just going to be about bondholders. No, it is going to be about the future. Look, let's take it very seriously. 20, 30 years from now, Akufo-Addo may not be alive. Kenneth Weata may or may not be alive. But a 5-year-old sitting somewhere is going to have a ripple effect on that kid. Or the young girl in the school in Legon, in the University of Ghana, or in KNUST, is going to benefit from whatever decision we take today. And so all these people must have a say in policy formulation in this country. We can't just hand over our destinies to a kind of Reata and Akufo-Addo and sit down and expect them to make decisions for us, even when the decision doesn't help future generation. We are going to resist it. And so I am sending a word of caution to the government. They should sit down with the necessary stakeholders. We should find a workable solution to our debt situation. This is not a workable solution.
And so for now, in terms of the activities that we've seen, the civil activities such as picketing the petitioning of some officers, do you feel that a lot more needs to be done in that regard?
A lot more needs to be done. I'm learning that the individual bondholders will be going on a demonstration soon, and we are going to mobilize young people to join them. We will make it happen. If the government is not willing to sit down and listen, we'll make it a global issue. See, until the IMF structure or the program we are going to seek in IMF, until the good people of this country accept it, it is by default a no-no. IMF is not going to work with the government, even if the people are saying no. And that is why it is good for the government to sit down with everybody. If IMF realizes that the individual bondholders, the insurance company, the banks are crying, they are not going to give any money to the country. And so they should get up from their high horses, calm down, and then negotiate. Move from the position that they are standing as though they pick a phone and then they make things happen. No. Calm down to the people, sit down, negotiate. If not, it is going to be ungovernable for all of us in this country in this year. I'm telling you, we won't accept it. Period.
Well, let's take some of the messages coming through on WhatsApp. You have that on your screens right now. This one says, including individual bondholders into the debt exchange program amounts simply to subjecting them to economic agony and years of untold hardship. The government should understand that the lives of people are at stake here. Government should really not be insensitive to the cries of the ordinary Ghanaian who have insured themselves through these bonds. Then this one continues to read that, isn't it a good move at all that will rather end up crippling the country or our economy? Well, I'm not so clear with that. And this one continues to say that my money is at EDC, which forms part of the corporate bonds. I'm losing 11,000 cedis without any wrongdoing. A poor police officer like me. This government is a disaster. 2024 is just in the corner, and that's coming through from Gideon from Akwafu. What at all does this government take us for? They behave like they elected themselves to power, but not the people. May we be saved from this hardship, and that's coming through from A.A. Bello in Techima. Of course, Doc, the political angle always comes up. What will you do if this persists and in 2024, as pensioner bondholders. Would you threaten that, well, we are voting against you if you don't listen to our plea?
No, I think every individual has his own
Political preference.
Even if you are in your house, for those of us who have kids still 18 and 19 taking care of them, you can go and vote for a particular line, your child will go and cancel it. So as for that, for voting, each one has his own preference. So we don't want...
But what's just paramount to you is that the government must indeed and listen to you.
It's right. We all want the program to succeed. There's no two-way about that. Countries have done that. They have succeeded. People got overwhelming support, 100% you can get. It is when you have negotiated it well. People, you owe people, you can't pay, you go to the people, you talk to them. This is all that I can do. They accept. Yes, we see that going forward, we can't enjoy the things that we're enjoying because you have gone through this problem. And they agree, and you come out with that package. Everybody signs on, and then we move. So that is all that we are saying. And now that the minister has said they are pausing and coming to do further consultation, we believe it will be called together. My suggestion is that all the parties should be called together at a point so that you can see the linkage. If you call one person and you deal with that person and call another party, you are not getting the linkages. You realize that, oh, if this was the case, then I shouldn't have done this to this group. But if you all meet, you are able to see how it's linking. The insurance people are there, the Securities Industry Association is there, the Bankers Association is there, individual bondholders are also represented, and we are there. These key people are there, and we talk. Then anything that we discuss and we approve of or we agree to do, everybody's interest has been taken. The national interest is taking, individual interest is taking, and we come to a middle way, and we can move on.
How about the argument of time, that time is not on our side? We've heard that argument. Yesterday I was speaking to Ranking on Parliament's Finance Committee, Dr. Kisela Tufos, and he says, well, our IMF program is in jeopardy.
Well,
yeah, so further engaging you may rob government of some time, isn't it?
Well, we don't know. The IMF have said if we don't come out with this on certain dates, we are pulling out. We haven't heard that.
All right.
But even if we have heard that, the people who are managing the process can quickly come, as they have said, giving themselves up to the end of this month is enough for government to meet these key parties and resolve the matter. I believe everybody, the insurance people have their own problems. They will put their consent on the table. The bankers will put, the Securities Market Association people will put, we the individuals also will put that maybe we are saying for the pensioners, let them go. But there are still some individuals who are also holding bonds. What should be done to them? So if we talk, everybody's concern is taken. We will by all means get to a point where everybody says, well, I've taken some, I've given out some, so bring out a new invitation for me to accept. We will get there. We will succeed.
You're hopeful?
Yes.
Harry, your final thoughts on this?
Thank you very much. You know, how we managed to get here was because the government kept borrowing and financial experts, journalists, and everybody in this country continued to tell them that what they are doing is going to put us in a difficult position. Now, we lack credibility. We need IMF to make us look clean so that we can go back and borrow again. You see, the problem is that even after this whole IMF program, they are still looking at going into the capital market to go and borrow more. We need a long-term solution to our problems in this country. A pragmatic solution, not just I need 8 billion from bondholders, squeeze it, bring it, whatever you are going to go through. I don't care. I need the money to go and enjoy my luxurious lifestyle. And so the government needs a long-term plan, not just squeezing people from their savings because you have the big shoulders, you can bully them around. No, we are not going to allow that. And so please, this is just to the government. Sit down with the people. We voted you into power. We have a mandate, and you have to deliver to the good people of this country. From now to 2024, sit down with the people. Let them know that you messed up. you are going to come clean, this and this and this. You failed the good people of this country, but now you need them. And so how can you help me fix the mess I created as a government? That is the only way, so that the people, out of their heart, appeal to people's emotion. You don't bamboozle people and take their own money. That is not how things are done. And so, yeah, we expect the government to sit down with the people, the bondholders, the individual bondholders, the institutions, the banks, the insurance companies, and have a broad stakeholder consultation so that we can have a solution, a pragmatic plan to all these effects. Until then, it is going to be back and forth, and we are going to resist it at all costs.
Let's give the final words to Dr. Edu as we wrap up on this.
Yeah, once the minister has extended the invitation period, we believe we will do a genuine consultation and negotiation so that we will come out with a package that will be acceptable to all.
Doc, thank you for joining us here on The Pulse, and also to you, Harry. Well, 7